Hello, my dear audience. The horrible fires in Los Angeles destroyed a lot of beautiful homes. And this made me think about another architectural masterpiece that was once destroyed by fire. The Rose Pauson House by Frank Lloyd Wright was a beautiful home that existed for only 1 year, and it burned down more than 80 years ago. Rose Pauson was a successful artist who was known for her landscape paintings. While she lived in San Francisco, she wanted a vacation retreat where she could spend the winters and paint her desert landscapes. She contacted Frank Lloyd Wright in 1939, but due to many delays, the house was not completed until 1942. Unfortunately, Rose Pauson spent only one winter in her new vacation home, because in 1943 an ember fell from the fireplace. A curtain was set on fire and the entire house burned to the ground. It's a tragic story, but luckily, more than 80 years later, architect David Romero reconstructed the house with digital images based on the old black and white photos. Together with my own drawings, I used these images to create a walkthrough, showing you how this once beautiful home must have looked like. So let's take a look inside. The residence was placed on the edge of a slope in a large open desert field. From the road was a carport located on the foot of the hillside. Next to it was a pathway with steps climbing up towards the house. Placed on top of a hill, towering high above your head and standing alone in the desert, the house must have been impressive when seen from the street. From above, it consisted solely of rectangles, and seen horizontally from every angle, the design was made out of straight lines. Frank Lloyd Wright created this unusual design to protect the house against the strong desert winds. By making a rectangular house with no protruding shapes, the winds could blow easily past the house, limiting storm damage. In Arizona desert, the winds blow mostly from the west and sometimes from the south. Therefore, the west and south side had hardly any windows and protruding parts, with thick walls also protecting the interior against the heat of the sun. From the east and north, the wind and sun were less powerful, allowing a corner of floor-to-ceiling windows. Let's now take a look at the floor plan. We remove the roof, color the parts that are inside, decorate the drawing with furniture, and name the functions of the different spaces. Interesting is the pathway in the middle that divided the floor plan in two different parts. Left from the pathway was the utility space, with a boiler room and a servant's bedroom, while right from the pathway was the actual residence. 4 terraces pointed in 4 different directions, providing views over the landscape in every direction. The terrace in the south was the lowest part of the house, due to the decline of the hillside. Because of the different ground levels, it was only accessible by descending a stair. The many terraces and balconies made it possible to sit outside in the sun at any moment of the day. This brought people more in contact with nature, mixing inside and outside, an important trademark of organic architecture. Through this opening, we walk over a pathway like a tunnel underneath the second floor level, which was located 6 feet higher than the terrace at the south side. And from the terrace in the west, we step through the front door. Behind the front door was a hallway with wooden walls, extending beyond the stone wall and hanging above the ground. At the end of the hallway was the door of the living room. Because the second floor level was only placed over half the size of the lower level, the living room was 2 stories high, with a mezzanine overlooking the sitting area from the second floor. From the sitting space, you had to climb up 2 steps to enter the dining area, which was placed under the mezzanine, with the entrance to another hallway at the right. This gave the dining area a very enclosed feeling, placed in an alcove with a low ceiling and a built-in couch. Behind this wall was a semi-open kitchen and a pantry. The enclosed feeling of the dining area formed a sharp contrast with the wideness and brightness of the sitting area, which was placed in the same space. As usual with organic architecture, the interior was inspired by the landscape, with the rockstone walls and many brown and ochre colors resembling the surrounding desert. Like many other houses by Frank Lloyd Wright, all the furniture was designed by Wright himself. This fireplace set this curtain on fire, which led to the destruction of the house. And when I look at this photo, I have to admit that the curtain hangs dangerously close to the fireplace. The living room also functioned as the art studio, where Rose Pauson made her paintings, with the panoramic views as a source of inspiration and a 2-story high windows providing steady daylight from the north. There were 3 floor-to-ceiling glass doors that could swing open towards the concrete terrace. Due to the descending hillside, the northern edge of the terrace was several feet above the ground. With its many unique shapes, the house looked different from every angle, like a sculpture. From the northeast, it looked like a large ship that was stranded in the desert, while from the northwest, the enclosed walls gave it the appearance of a bunker or a fortress. Like many other houses by Frank Lloyd Wright, it also had pre-Columbian influence, having similarities with a Mayan or Aztec pyramid. The pyramid-like appearance of the house was caused by the many trapezoid shapes. To reduce the weight of the concrete walls, the walls were made narrower towards the top. The upward narrowing was visually contradicted by lightweight wooden walls that were placed at a backward angle, the final result being a fascinating combination of opposing trapezoids. Here was a staircase from where you could climb to the second floor level. Let's now take a look at the higher floor plan. The second floor level had 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, connected with a hallway that ended in a mezzanine overlooking the living room below. Here you see a digital reconstruction of the master bedroom. It had a fireplace and a corner of windows, enlarging the feeling of space. Corners of glass were a typical trademark by Frank Lloyd Wright. All bedrooms were connected to one large balcony. Because there were no windows on the west side, Wright had to figure out a way for people to still see the landscape to the west, so he extended the balcony on the south side. This kept the interior in contact with every part of the landscape. Ironically, when you look at pictures of the burned down ruin, you get a better understanding of the construction. The 2 chimneys that were still standing after the fire were also the columns that supported the wooden floor level and the wooden roof beams. With only these lower walls also made of concrete. And all the walls of the second floor level made of wood. The walls and columns were made of concrete, with desert boulders mixed into the wet concrete, integrating the house into the landscape. The wooden parts were made of redwood. The use of materials was similar with Taliesin West, also in Arizona. The history of the house did not end with the fire, and even continues today. After the fire, the ruins remained standing for over 36 years in the empty landscape. During these decades, the adjacent lots were built in with houses, but it was not until 1979 that the road was widened and slightly shifted. The structure was in the way and therefore removed. This was the location of the house, and the original road was once here. As you can see on this photo, the hillside was split to allow the new road to pass through. However, not the entire structure was removed. The southern chimney was spared and relocated 300 yards further south, standing as a monument next to the entrance of the neighborhood. So even today it is possible to catch a very small glimpse of this once beautiful home. Hopefully the house will be rebuilt someday.